The Bitcoin and meme bull markets are in full swing. AI agents went nuts for a little while. But what is going on with the rest of the altcoin market? I'm going to talk about it today with Wick here on Trading Alpha. We're going to dig into the charts and see what we can find. Let's go.
Let's go.
What is up, everybody? I'm Scott Melker, also known as the Wolf of All Streets. Before we get started, please subscribe to the channel. Hit the like button. Going to go ahead and bring on Wick right now, man. We all saw your car wreck on the internet. Glad you were okay. And here it's been a while.
Yeah, it was a pretty bad wreck, but I feel pretty blessed and lucky to come out of it. So another day moving on, man. But yeah, thanks for you wrote me and asked me how I was. So many other people and followers were praying for me and wishing me luck. So thank you for all the support. But I'm doing just fine, guys. Somebody wants me around a little bit longer.
Good, man. Glad you're okay because we need your charts. Speaking of which, man, where do you stand on the market right now? I mean, I'll bring this up. Obviously, I've got your screen kind of shared, but it's been very select things that have kind of flown, and the rest has been pretty boring, or at least kind of just floating down.
It has. So I don't know what happened to my last chart there, but we can just look at this Bitcoin chart. And yeah, I mean, everything's kind of just basing sideways, right? But one thing that we see here that we've seen from other previous market cycles that has really worked well is just simply when you go into these parabolic advances, just waiting until those green dots end before you get scared, before you make any rash decisions. At least for me, that's what I'm doing. And as you can see here, ever since we started that parabolic advance out of what I call a stage 3 basing phase, it's kept the green dots, right? And this topping signal was not confirmed, it was delineated. And we're just pushing up here against the resistance. So everything looks pretty healthy. To me, this looks like it's bullish consolidation above this resistance. So yeah, it's not been an exciting market in the last couple months, but nonetheless, man, I've stayed bullish and it looks really good. So I'm just waiting for things to take off. And I've got a few interesting other charts to show you on why I think that we could see some breakouts coming pretty soon.
Nice, man. Let's dig in.
Yeah, and then I just want to show you too, when we had this last parabolic advance here, you can see how the dots kept you in the move the whole time, just to give you guys some confluence in what I'm talking about. And they ended right here. And when they do end, you kind of do want to take caution, even if it's that you don't want to sit through these horrible, agonizing stage 3 basing phases. And when you have a basing phase, we do start to go from red dots to green dots and back and forth. I call this the Christmas tree effect. And this is kind of how we identify the stage 3 basings, as long as they don't break support. So we haven't even stopped the green dots yet. So this isn't even a real basing phase, even though it feels like it. That's why I say I still think it's consolidation just below resistance.
Yeah.
So let me show you a good argument for the bull market real quick. So a lot of people have been talking about liquidity and how liquidity is driving crypto, specifically Bitcoin. And I do see a ton of correlation there. And one of the ways that you can judge liquidity is you can look at the ISM the Purchasing Manufacturers Index. And let's go to previous cycles and I'll explain what I see here. So you can see here that this was the bull market that started with Bitcoin here in 20. When we had all that printing of the from COVID. You can see here's 2017. So each time we have a bull market, we pull back quite far and we have a little fake out and then it dips again before it takes off. It did it right here as well. Broke down, took off, and then scared everyone before it took off. So you get these little fake outs before the bull market really starts to go through its parabolic phase. Here was another one, right? It dipped again. So where are we right now? Well, some people have talked about this market being kind of overextended. It might be a shorter market. Some people have even gone bearish, which I can't agree with yet. But if you look at the liquidity, we've done the same thing where we've kind of made a bottom, okay, pulled up again, and then faked everyone out one more time. It's just been more of an extension, okay? But what I see now that I want to point to everyone is that we are getting consecutive green dots. these last 2 months. And that is very, very bullish, at least if you're talking from a liquidity standpoint. So if you do agree and believe in the liquidity argument, this is telling you that that's pretty bullish right now. And once we get above this 50 marker is when things really in the past have started to really take off. Another thing that I wanted to point out is that we are seeing a squeeze shading. These shadings are synonymous for extreme violent moves happening right after them. You can see here, last time we went through a bear market, we got that shading warning and then that breakout arrow to the downside, and that was goodbye, all your liquidity is gone, right? Now we're doing it from the reverse, from the bottom, and we have green dots from the bottom. This is both signaling to me that we have high probabilities that we probably get that breakout arrow again right here at around the 50 mark. So that's my argument, along with the Bitcoin price action that is really not even basing yet, where I think that, you know, in the next couple months, we should see something take off. I will say that I'm going through a lot of data right now, but I will say that also looking back in the past, March seems to be a really bad month. So if you guys go and look through the cycle of Bitcoin, March seems to be a month where you pull back. Okay, so I do see a weaker first quarter. But this right here leads me to believe that once we're done with all that selling, maybe we're trying to raise liquidity for tax season, right, in April. But I think after that, sometime around that time, we should see things start to take off, because liquidity usually takes like 3 to 4 or 5 months to work through the system before we finally see it come through in equities and crypto. So that's my argument for the market. Yeah. If you want to move on to more coins here, we can look at Salana.
Still moving. It's about to make its highest. Oh, your chart looks different than mine. Oh, that's your 4 hour. That's why. Okay, yeah, got it.
4 hour. Yeah, I wanted to signal because Salana has been very interesting lately, especially with these meme coins that have been popping up, upsetting everyone. But they were made on the Salana blockchain. And a day before, I looked at the price action and I saw something weird happening, that Salana was showing relative strength to Sui, because everyone has now switched from Salana to Sui, right? Well, a day before we found that Trump coin came out, I saw that the relative strength was switching back to Salana. And then we had that pump, and then we had that drawback when they started buying Ethereum. And now we can see that Salana is starting to pump again and leave Sui in the dust. And we are now breaking out on the 4 hour as well. You can see here a very nice reaction to this bounce off of support. So this is what I wanted to bring to your attention. You know, it's hard to find setups today in a lot of coins, but Salana is definitely showing a lot of strength. And this breakout above this resistance here, which is clear resistance rejected 3 times there, 4 times there, it's breaking out. So that is a good sign, but also just remember that we do have the all-time highs not too far away. So this
something worth looking at too. It's trending towards its highest ever daily close, even though the 4 hour kind of, that's why I was thrown off for a second, but the highest it's ever actually closed on a daily is 261. It had that kind of wick up. So right now it's trending towards its highest daily close ever. That's just no joke.
That's beautiful. And what is the daily close at? I think, is it 6 o'clock? It's 6
I think it closes here in about 3 hours and 20 minutes.
3 hours.
7 o'clock p.m. Yeah, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Yeah. So if we get that close on the daily, like Scott pointed out, that's another bullish sign. So yeah, just wanted to bring to your attention that even though no coins are popping, Salana for some reason seems to be showing a lot of strength just before the Trump coin came out, and now it's showing that strength again. So I wanted to bring that to
I saw also that I don't know if you saw the story, but just the Trump meme coin alone increased the stablecoin supply on Salana by like 57% in 3 days or something. Like the total stablecoin supply on Salana like went absolutely bananas. You know that money finds a home. So
money does find a home. Does find a home. Another thing that I wanted to run through is this is actually a beautiful chart for people to kind of learn our system. So I'll just work it left to right really quickly so you can just kind of see how it works. We have a topping signal right here. For us to have a topping signal right and the squeeze shading, it should send off a lot of signs that a big move is coming. Breakout to arrow to the downside. When you have these arrows from the squeeze shading, just like I pointed out on the liquidity chart, it usually starts a whole brand new trend. And you can see how that happens. We do get a reversal signal here. It is not confirmed because none of the next 2 bars close above the wick. We need that to confirm it. It is not confirmed. We go lower. We start basing again. The red dots are persisting. They finally end right here, right? So it works to the upside and the downside like this. They end right here. You get another squeeze shading, right? And there's another topping signal, okay? Again, sending off warning signs just like it did over here. We push with a breakout arrow even lower, okay? But then we finally get a little reversal signal over here. And the next bar does close above the wick of the reversal, confirming this one finally, unlike this one. And then we start pushing higher into that parabolic extension. Once we break above the track line on a sign of strength, meaning a big bar relative to the previous bars, it's called a sign of strength. This is a stage 2 breakout. And with that big bar, it is a parabolic advance. That's how I like to define them, is a break above your basing level with a big sign of strength. This is your parabolic advance starting. Whenever you do start that, again, I like to just follow the dots. And to give you guys some background on why I follow the dots without just saying follow the dots are your soonest indication that the trend is turning either bullish or bearish. So that's why when it is extended and you go into that parabolic advance, it becomes so important, because then any pullback should lose those dots. And it's the soonest signal that things are kind of turning around. You can see here we lose the dots right there. And of course, then we push lower and lower again, right? But right now, yeah. So that I want to just run through that, Scott, because a lot of people will look at the charts. They'll see signals. They don't know if it's confirmed or not, or how to confirm them. So I just wanted to go through that. But we do have a lot of other charts to go through. Let's look at the Ethereum, okay? Because a lot of people have been comparing Salana to Ethereum, and then the Worldcoin team has been buying up Ethereum crazy. Do you know how much they've bought so far?
World Liberty Financial. They bought
World
tens
Liberty
of
Financial.
millions. Yeah, well, but they bought at least 49. Was it? In commemoration of the presidency, tens of millions, 40-something million. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't, I'm looking at the chart. I really don't understand. Maybe they've got something up their sleeve, but looking at the chart, I don't really see a reason why they would be so bullish on it. Yet is above a green track line, but it's really not showing much strength. And we got this resistance up above that we printed topping signals at twice already. So when I see that, I just don't get interested unless we're above something like this resistance zone, unless you're playing a range, right? If you're looking at the lower time frames and this starts to print a B or consecutive green dots, yeah, then you can play a range. But to buy up that much Ethereum without having something up your sleeve on this chart just seems kind of strange to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe they're gonna, bridge or launch something on Ethereum, and they're getting liquidity ready. It's my theory, but we'll see.
That does make sense, and especially since they launched those tokens on Salana and they saw what happened to Salana, that would kind of make sense looking at that, kind of making a game plan.
So
Moving on just to a few equities. This is Rocket Labs. Rob Powell first talked about this, but the space sector in general, for a lot of economists have been talking about how, especially with Elon in the hot seat that he is, that this is going to be a sector that it really does well in 2025. I have some friends that have been watching the sector for quite a few years, around with Powell as well. And you can see here that on the weekly chart, we are breaking out again. I looked at this first and posted about it when we had this stage 2 parabolic advance here, right? The breakout above the stage 1. And since then, I think we've done 3x. We've hit some topping signals here. We keep pulling back and again, breaking above this. If we do close this weekly bar, which has 2 days left, this will be a very bullish sign again for the space sector, which again, Elon's probably going to help with deregulating it. So like Rocket Labs, moving on to the Qs. A lot of you like the Qs because it's got a lot of 50% of the stocks in the ETF. The Qs are an ETF, meaning it's a basket of stocks, and half of them are actually tech weighted, the best technology companies. So if you do want exposure to things like AI and that sort of stuff, the Qs is a good way to do it without having to pick single stocks and have that risk. So looking at the Qs here, it loves to make these little channels, these up channels here. And that's what I like to play. And you can even play the ranges if you want to. I don't do that. I just like to make sure that I'm in them whenever the channels are showing me that they're valid. And you can see here how it broke out of the channel, hit the support, had a green dot reaction, and is now back in that channel again. So that's a little setup if you guys do like stocks. For those of you that do, this should probably revert to the highs of the channel. So looking here, switching to Fcoin.
Can't say it with a straight face. It's not possible. Don't do it.
It actually caught me off guard too because I wasn't looking at it. But yeah, so Fcoin, you can see here we're basing, stage 1 basing. We have a stop it, Scott. We have a breakout. We have a breakout here. We start the stage 2 parabolic advance. A little topping pattern here. Breakdown. Have a little double bottom pattern here, which I like. And here we have our first green dot and testing this support. So if we keep green dots, I'm going to actually like this, but it looks like it wants to really test the support. So let's see what happens here at the end of the 4 hours. But this was another setup that I was going to bring to you guys, but it does look like it kind of wants to test it right now. For those of you that are in Fcoin, you know, I wouldn't play this on anything but the lower time frames just because it's so volatile. So I'll tend to stick to something between the 1 and the 6 hour time frame, 1, 4, or 6 in my opinion. Again, yeah, Worldcoin. So we were talking about Liberty Coin.
First it was World Liberty Financial. This is actually Worldcoin, which is where they scan your eyeball. Sam.
Okay.
Altman,
Yes.
guy. Yeah.
So I've heard a lot about both here, a lot of hype about both. If you're looking at Worldcoin specifically, this is basing to me in a stage 1 basing phase. You can see how we had a little fake out here, hit that resistance at the track line and started to pull back. So for me, if I was you guys, I got asked about this a few times. If we do break out of the stage 1 basing phase, I would look at this as just a range play. I wouldn't look at this until it broke this. This is probably the real stage 2 parabolic phase if it does break above here. So just giving you guys some updates on that. On your request, on your Twitter page, we had some requests. One of them was Bonk. Bonk is actually showing something very interesting.
It's all memes these days. It's hilarious.
It is memes, you know, but it's interesting because, you know, the last couple of cycles, we had so much regulation where we had things like DeFi and actual utility, and they killed it, right? So then people just started going to memes, and memes started working, and it's kind of sucks because it kind of seems like this cycle, there's not as much innovation, right? So we're just, people have stopped looking at that, and they just want to, you know, buy something and hope for the best at this point. That's been working. So Bonk here, you guys can see that we have the squeeze shading. Last time we had it, we reverted pretty high. We're not reverted. We actually broke out a lot higher on that breakout arrow. Okay. And you can see here, the dots ended here. And after that, it was kind of over, right? Here we have two things happening. We have a reversal candle here. This last one was not confirmed. None of the next 2 bars closed. Actually, the next one did close above it. So it was actually confirmed on the reversal bar, the previous one. And we're breaking out higher here, trying to get that breakout arrow just like we did over here. So this is your setup for Bonk on the 1 hour for you guys that like to scalp. If we do get that breakout arrow, we could see a really nice advance. Again, I would just follow the dots if you are trading on the lower time frames. Moving on here to Link, another request that we had on your page. Link looks pretty good. This is the weekly chart. So this is the macro time frame, the longer time frame. You can see here how we had a little confirmed bottom. And then after that, we kind of took off a lot. It pulled back. A lot of times when we lose those dots and we pull back to the track line and we have a green dot reaction off of the track line, I talk about this in my white paper of the indicators. A green dot reaction off of the track line is also a valid setup. So I really do like Link. We also saw the I get them confused. World Liberty team did buy up a lot of Link as well. So that was another one of their plays. And it's interesting because they've been working with Link for his coin, for his stuff. So I think Link's going to be a good play fundamentally. And as I said, I think technically too, that bounce of the track line, not consecutive green dots is good, but you do just want to watch out because of course we have a lot of resistance in this area right over here. Moving on to Doge, another one that was requested on your page. You can see here is the macro downtrend line, just like we had on Tesla, right? That I pointed out for a couple years, actually. Breaking above that, you know, what I do kind of like about this, we did have a big pullback, but what I like about this is sometimes when we have these big sign of strength bars, I like to look at the 50% mark liner of it. And if we don't break below the 50%, we could see another bounce normally. And we didn't close below it. So this is what I'll say. We have had consecutive green dots in a parabolic extension. So I'm just following the dots right now. But I also just like to look at this support from before, which kind of lines up almost with that 50% marker of the sign of strength. So if we break below this is what I'm saying, I would lose a little bit more confidence in it. But for now, it's holding green dots. It's above that 50 marker. So it's still looking good to me. I mean, it's not moving right now, but it's not looking bad either.
Yeah, looks amazing.
Okay, so I do want to go through the screener. We can go look for a setup on the screener. Let's do cryptocurrencies. We can do the 6 hour. Now, this is from Trading Alpha. What the screener is, guys, is it looks for all those setups that you saw, bottom signals, dots, all that type of stuff. and you're able to scan through all of your charts in the whole crypto market and say, listen, I just want charts that are just showing me bottom signals, or charts that are just showing me confirmed bottom signals or confirmed reversals, or even charts that are just showing me one green dot starting right now, which is very valuable. In fact, let's do that. Let's look at dots. Let's look for charts that are showing us one green dot, and let's scan the market. All right, so we have quite a few here. Quite a few. Let's go ahead, and this looks like a nice chart here that could be bouncing again. Let's turn off the lines. Let's put on candles because we work with candles here. And you can see here, it picked up a chart that has just one green dot showing right now, meaning that this is your first earliest indication that the trend is going bullish. Okay, so I also like the fact here that it looks like it had a little bit of a double bottom play before that happened. This would be your confirmation on that double bottom, and then a green dot as well. So this does look good. I don't like the fact that it's pulled back, but this day is, the 6-hour chart is not over. Candle is not over. But yeah, so that's how you use the screener. And I use the screener every day to look for indications like confirmed bottoms or one dot starting. So I wanted to point that out. And we are running out of time here, Scott. So I'll go ahead and just let them know that we do have a 25% off sale. If you do want the indicators, all this, or the screener, we usually reserve 25% off for Black Fridays. This Black Friday, we had a 30% off sale. So we probably won't have a 25% off sale for quite a long time. So if you do want this, go ahead and click on the comment section. There's a link there to go and get it. And when you're checking out, check out the Alpha Bundle Yearly. That's the indicators that have the dots. And on the left-hand side during checkout, type in 25 off to drop that price by 25%. And also the discount is also on the screener as well. So either one you want, you can get that discount right now.
I can't encourage you guys enough. It makes scanning the market so much easier. I just have like lists and lists of charts, and I just have one trading alpha thing, and I go boom, 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 boom. You know, green, for me, it's gray and blue, but green, red, green, red, green, red. It's so easy, and the screener makes it so much easier, especially because it has bullish divergences, which everybody knows I love.
Yeah, and you know, I get a lot of questions from people that ask me, you know, they'll reach out and they'll say, hey, John, should I get the screener or should I get the indicators? And that's something that I kind of want to touch on just for a second here. If you're looking to just start with trading alpha and you haven't been with us before, I would definitely get the indicators first, because think of the indicators as your base. The better you learn the indicators, the better you're going to be able to utilize the alpha screener. Right? So if you do have the indicators already, then of course you should be thinking about maybe cutting down your time looking at charts, or maybe if you just trade 2 or 3 charts, then it's not right for you. But if you like to jump between different assets and find assets that are taking off, then it definitely is the thing to do, because a lot of times you'll not waste more time, but you also just won't find the setups because there's so many assets to search through.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, dude, I'm really glad we got to do this again. Yeah, that was quite a lot for a market that didn't have a lot of setups. There's some things that are starting to look good and are well worth watching. I think Bitcoin blasts up, we chill, and then altcoins go nuts. Why not?
Yeah, why not? And make sure you guys watch Fcoin too.
Dude, I can't. I think the next one after that was like Butthole or something that was going crazy.
Oh, I saw that. I think Charlie posted about that. That's
because there's a butthole coming out of a fart. It just comes out of a butthole, and Trump. I don't know, man. Melania. I can't.
Yeah. Is this for
that's my cue to end my day here. All right, man. I'm glad you're feeling better. Thank you so much, guys. We'll be back hopefully next Wednesday with Trading Alpha. And of course, I'll be back tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Good to have you back, man. Thank you guys for watching. Have a good one.
Thanks. Cheers.
That's dope.